So so mind right now, the analogy that Arjun is using is that of air. Mind is like air. Is mind like air? Is it yes or no? Do you agree with this analogy? It sounds logical, isn't it? Yes, mind appears like air. Now, मन पदार्थ है. ओशो बोलते हैं आपको लगता है मन पदार्थ है. So he says मन पदार्थ नहीं है. He says his analogy, air is padarth, but man padarth nahi hai. He says maybe in Arjun's time he didn't know, but today air can be captured. You know, if it becomes very cold, it can be solidified into an ice cube. So the states of air can change. Air is padarth. Okay. Mind is not padarth. What is the nature of anything which is material and which is padarth? The nature of anything which is padarth is that it cannot be created, nor can it cannot be destroyed. No, I'm not saying it cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed. Whatever exists, like whatever exists on the earth, it will remain. It can just keep changing forms, isn't it? The weight of the earth remains the same. It doesn't keep changing because people come, die, live, whatever. It is the same. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Do we agree? Correct. So material, the nature of material is that uh, it will stay in existence. Mind is not like this. Mind is not padarth. So uh, so he explains that mind is a relationship. It has no substance. There is no padarth to it. So it's like this. Body is matter. Correct? Our body is matter. There is soul, which is our consciousness. Okay, loosely put, whatever. Soul is consciousness. When body and soul come together, in Maharishi Patanjali's terminology, when the Pancha Mahabhutas, all those bhutas come together with Purusha, then there is a mind, there is a relationship that gets created between the soul and matter. This relationship between the soul and matter is called as mind. And if you look at that Tattva model, the 25 Tattva model, we have Purusha, Prakriti, Manas, Ahamkar, Buddhi. So that region of Ahamkar, Manas, Buddhi is really the mind space. Like that is the mind space. And that gets created because now the soul, which we liken to Purusha for just for understanding purposes, and the body, which is the matter, have come together. So it is simply a relationship. It is not substance. It has no weight. Okay, this is the first thing that we have to understand about our mind. This is something which Arjun misses. Now, uh, when a relationship happens, okay, let's understand it like this. The relationship of the mind is from consciousness to the body. Okay, it is not from body to consciousness because body is inert. Body cannot invite the relationship to consciousness. Consciousness reaches out to the body and this relationship gets created. It's like this. Two stones, can they have friendship? Two stones don't have friendship because they are both inert. They are both matter. Correct? If I'm walking in a forest, I meet a bunch of people. Maybe I make friends with somebody. Okay. So, so when there is a body and soul, both are involved, then a relationship is possible. Is that clear? Two pieces of matter cannot have a relationship. When body and soul both are present, then a relationship is possible. A relationship is also possible between me and you because body and soul, both these ingredients are present for a relationship to happen. Now, um, I may have a relationship with this mouse, okay, whatever. I may have a relationship with a stone. I may start seeing this as God, as deity, whatever, okay. I may have a relationship with something inert, but that stone does not have a relationship with me, correct? Because it is inert. So if I want to break this relationship, it's very easy, isn't it? Because it's only one-sided. Breaking a one-sided relationship is very easy. Breaking a two-sided relationship is very complex. Because when it's a two-sided relationship, the other person is involved. He can take you to court. All kinds of things can happen, correct? So two-sided relationships are difficult to break. One-sided relationship is very easy to break. Our relationship, mind is a relationship which is one-sided. It is from consciousness to body. Now, if you remember Maharishi Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, he uses the word Samayoga. Samayoga is clenching. It's like two things coming together and therefore relationship happens. Then he speaks of Viyoga, creating that distance, breaking that relationship. That is what it is. So the invitation here is that mind is not padarth and air, Arjun, like you are thinking. Mind is a relationship. It is one-sided. It is possible to break this relationship. If this relationship is broken, where will I be? Where will I be? I will be in tada drashtu swarupe vasthanam, isn't it? Because now, I want to open this, but I'm so scared I will again lose it. Okay. I keep losing the gallery view. Uh, okay. So, so wind is padarth, material, mind is a relationship. The second thing that we need to understand about this is that um, anything that can be restless can also be still. Is that true? Only what is restless can also become still. So Osho gives this example. He says, if you are running, you cannot run if you can't stand, isn't it? It's not possible. You cannot run if you're not able to stand, how will you run? Isn't it? You can run only because you can stand. This is what he's saying about the mind. The mind moves only because it is capable of being still. Please understand, it's very deep. It's beautifully, he's gone through this step by step to explain this. The mind is restless and the mind moves only because it has the capacity to be still. But it is not in our experience. So we think मन तो चंचल है, मन का नेचर ही ऐसा है, मन तो कभी ठहर ही नहीं सकता, पर मन ठहर सकता है, ऐसा हो सकता है. And in those are the moments when we transcend the mind. So um, destroying matter and destroying relationships. So I explained this is like one-sided relationship, which can be which is easier to destroy. So our relationship with the mind can be easily destroyed. We can break that. Samayoga. Now, so this idea that mind runs only because it is capable of stillness is coming from this bigger idea that everything in existence is polar. Only what can run can stay still. Only what is hot can also become cold. Only because there is summer, there is winter. It's like that, okay? World exists in polarity. There is no other way. It exists like this. So, um, so it can be still. So Osho says, Arjun has no experience of anything beyond the mind. He possesses a deep logical intellect. He thinks and understands, but he has no access to the world of emotion. He talks about rules, but he has no realization of the deeper ultimate rules. So कहीं पर ओशो इस commentary में बोलते हैं that if it was a सिद्धांत, that Krishna was talking about, uh, Arjun would have defeated it because it's all about philosophies. But right now, what he's speaking about is, uh, the law of life which cannot be refuted. It's like gravity. It cannot be refuted. We spoke about the law of life in Vibhuti Pada of Yoga Sutras. It is a law. It is not magic. This is how life works. The whole of Vibhuti Pada in Yoga Sutras is expounding that and showing you, if you do this, this is going to happen. Maharishi Patanjali gives clear formulas. Krishna is explanation is based on those formulas. He's not giving him philosophy and siddhant. So um, speaking on the polarity again, Osho goes on to explain that you think that you can remove all enmity in the world and only friendship will remain. The world doesn't work like this. Because there is friendship, there is enmity. isn't it? Only a person who was your friend can become your enemy. No, correct? No stranger cannot become your. If you have no relationship, how can anybody be your enemy? Correct? Only friends become enemy. So, and because we are alive, we are going to die. So, therefore, mind is restless and still also exists together. Arjun is not aware of these polarities. So, um, that is the point that that's one of the that's the nature of the mind that we need to understand here. Okay, when Arjun is saying that ye to ho hi nahi sakta Krishna, there no stillness is possible. What equanimity, equality, samatvam you're speaking about? So he tries to explain this to him. Now in the 35th shloka he says, O mighty armed son of Kunti, what you say is correct. The mind is indeed very difficult to restrain, but by practice and detachment, abhyas, vairagya, it can be controlled. This is this is all Yoga Sutras for me. And just to mention, because you all are studying with me in this chapter, whenever I'm sharing, I'm more and more I gravitate towards Maharishi Patanjali's commentary and what our understanding of Yoga Sutras. I did go through Swami Sarvapriyananda's entire thing when I had done it for the first time. But now, as I'm sharing this with you, I find it all just confusing. It creates confusion because it's all about academic structures and Advaita. We'll bring in some of that, and I'll share it separately in our WhatsApp chat. But here, just be with this one flow because it makes sense. It is logical, and we all practice this. So instead of bringing just multiple perspectives, and then it becomes a little bit of a hodgepodge. So Krishna says that Arjun, if you do abhyas and vairagya, if you engage in these two, it is possible to bring the mind into stillness. So first thing is to understand abhyas. We are all conditioned. So Osho has gone, into a lot of again. I went into this. Okay. Are you still seeing the slide? I don't know why it automatically switches to the Zoom workplace. Uh, how do I do this now? Uh, I don't know how it does this. Share. Are you seeing the slide now? Okay, fine. All right. So he goes into explaining what is abhyas. Abhyas is जो भी हम निरंतर करते रहते हैं. Whatever we repeatedly do, that is the abhyas that we carry. Today, if I'm able to speak Hindi, why can I speak Hindi and why can I speak English? It is because I have the abhyas of that. This is what I have done, so this is my abhyas. A laborer has the abhyas of carrying weight, doing the construction work. So that is his abhyas, and because of his abhyas, certain results happen. He will have a certain kind of body, a certain kind of karma. Your abhyas creates your karma, whatever you do. Okay, so this is the first thing that we must understand. Uh, mm, so he says basically, abhyas is just conditioning, and your conditioning can be broken, and new pathways can be created. Okay, so um, uh, Osho goes on to give this example. He says that there are certain tribes, where anger is something that is not known to these tribal people. They don't get angry, they don't have any concept or idea of anger. But in our society, anger is such a big thing. So Osho bolte hai, of course, because we have so much abhyas of anger. Ghar pe parents are there, mom is screaming, dad is also getting angry, but there is a placard that says anger is sin. He says, of course, the child is growing with this kind of conditioning because that is all that he has seen. So anger is also a conditioning, but in this particular tribe, he says people don't have this conditioning of anger. It doesn't happen in them. He also speaks of another tribe. He gives this example that uh, they don't have this idea of possession to anything which is material. So if somebody doesn't have a house in that tribe, everybody gets together to create a house. There is no such thing as my house. They don't have this idea. This conditioning does not exist for them. He also goes on to give this example of how, this was in the news piece that in UP, there were these two girls who were taken away by the wolves in the forest and raised by the wolves. And when they were 7 or 11, they were found, and these girls could not speak any language. Nothing would come out. They were raised by the wolves. That was their conditioning, and they could not stand straight. They were walking on all their fours. This is the conditioning that happens to them. And this is a real story. Wolves raised the girls, and they were like this. So all abhyas literally is just conditioning. If conditioning can create this, we can also decondition and create new pathways. So very nice. But Abhyas is also very difficult. So Osho gives this very nice example. He says, see, it's like an operation, a surgery that has to be done on you. Now, if you go to the doctor and you say, I'm scared of pain, I don't think I can go through the surgery. Abhyas is also very difficult, get up daily doing that sadhana. So, and if you're practicing awareness tends to slip. So the doctor says, okay, no problem. We will give you anesthesia and then you can go through the surgery. So this anesthesia giving is something like vairagya. So a little bit of vairagya is needed even for abhyas to happen. You are running after something, chasing something, you found it, you found it, and then it again results in, uh, it does not bring you the fulfillment that you had hoped for. This is the first sutra of Yoga Sutras, Atha Yoga Anushasanam. You tried to chase everything in the world, this career, marry this person. You got everything, then why are you not fulfilled? Why is there a hankering in you for more? So what happens to us is we think that if I, grade 12, I should top and, I will be the most fulfilled person. But after some time, we forget all that and we may even experience grief, sadness, or just emptiness. So when we experience emptiness, what do? We all start running towards new sukh. We start replacing old sukh with new sukh. Let me go find this. This could make me happy. Let me go travel now, and this could make me happy. Now I travel 20 different countries and I come back, and again, there is a sense of emptiness. There is a sense of not being fulfilled. So every time, if we keep running, if we only have this abhyas of running, we never seem to pause in that moment when we are experiencing emptiness. The moment emptiness happens, what do? We replace it with another sukh. This is true. Does that make sense? So Osho bolte hain, so it's not that vairagya doesn't happen to all of us. All of us come into that state of vairagya. We thought that this particular relationship will fulfill us. We thought that I just need this job and it will fulfill me, and then I'm having problems with the boss, I'm having problems with my colleagues, and I don't want this job. I thought this was the star job. If I got this, I'm done, I've cracked it. And then you are having all this problem. So that means what was rag, now you want to run away from it. This wanting to run away from what you thought was could have been your source of fulfillment is a moment of vairagya. The problem is, Osho says, none of us stay put in that state of vairagya when it is rising in us. We want to quickly replace it with something else and run after something. So he says, ki dekho, in those olden houses, wherever, when the pigeons used to come, they used to have chatpat. There was an area where the pigeons would come and they would stay there. So he says we need to install something like that in our system. So when the moment of vairagya comes, you come into yourself and you go within and you do some search within yourself rather than running and trying to replace it with another pleasure. And this is where he quotes the story of Yayati again. We've done this many times. Is there anybody here who does not know the story of Yayati? Everybody knows the story of Yayati? All right. So Yayati was, always, he was like, I have, not lived my life. And the youngest son goes that, having lived for 80 years, you still don't feel fulfilled. I'm only 12 years old. What's the point? Life in any case is going to be sorrowful. And Yayati goes on living for 1,000 years, replacing one sukh after another sukh, but he never goes deep into vairagya. So this is a very important thing. अभ्यास तो चाहिए ही, but before you become established in abhyas, you have to come into a little bit of vairagya. So um, ओशो हैज स्पोकन अ लिटिल बिट कि कृष्ण बोलते हैं पहले अभ्यास करो फिर वैराग्य आ जाएगा. बट ओशो सेज दैट इवन for abhyas to happen, mom, he says, why has Krishna put vairagya second and not first? Because the truth is, till you get a little bit of vairagya, till you get a little bit of disenchantment in worldly pursuits, how will you do abhyas? Isn't it? We will not do abhyas if we are not slightly disenchanted with the world. But still, Krishna says vairagya second because we don't get established in vairagya. He says vairagya के moments तो आते ही रहते हैं. Throughout the day you are experiencing vairagya in some form of the other, but you don't stay put in it. That is why Krishna has put vairagya second. Like that he explains, okay? So So, abhyas to decondition without vairagya, mind will run. Hope triumphs over experience. This is our experience of vairagya. Actually, ye job nahi hua. Okay, this got messy. Let me find another opportunity. Maybe that will work better. Realizing the futility of one pleasure is normal, but realizing the futility of pleasure itself, realizing the futility of pleasure itself is unusual, Osho says. And it's unusual because we only have one pleasure at a time. When one pleasure is wasted, the mind immediately tells us to create a new one. Go, set in search for another one. This is how we lose all our moments of vairagya and don't get established in vairagya. Abhyas and vairagya go together. So everybody understands what is abhyas. Abhyas is the constant, steady effort that we are putting in to channelize our consciousness. That is abhyas. So vairagya is detachment. I just wanted to go through how Osho has explained this. He says the meaning, what is the meaning of detachment? What is the meaning of vairagya? Now, if I have any attraction, it is for myself. Now, I want to know the one. Vairagya means now I want to know the one who wants to find happiness. Vairagya means I'm not going to chase happiness. I'm going to go look for the one who is chasing happiness. Because from all those from whom I wanted to find happiness, I only got sorrow. From this job, from this person, from this relationship, from this situation, I only got sorrow. So now I'm going to look for the one who was chasing for it. Now, one more direction is left, that I should find the one who wants to find happiness. The meaning of detachment is freedom from the object and the journey towards the self. This is the meaning of vairagya, the journey towards the self. I think it is so beautiful. I think Osho's hit the rock bottom with this line, because we studied vairagya even in Yoga Sutras, and there he explained it like as he explained it with that example of money. The household is running towards it, the monk is running away from it, and how both are caught. Their mind is still in the materialistic thing. But this is such a beautiful way of explaining vairagya. That means I have begun my journey towards myself. The world, it can exist for what it is, but my journey, even in the world, is towards myself now. The flow of mind flowing from you to matter is called attachment. So when the mind is flowing from me to matter, it is attachment. The consciousness returning from matter to you is detachment. Beautiful explanation of detachment. It is not about, give up my house, give up my children, give up my husband. No, it's not about that. It's about be in all this, do whatever is necessary, but consciousness should keep bouncing back, should keep returning back. In these relationships, you are given so many opportunities to see how to use this consciousness to return to yourself. Swadhyaya. Then that's when Swadhyaya will begin to happen. So, uh, So just a few points from what he said. Abhyas means the transformation of both external and internal conditions. Abhyas means breaking the sanskaras, the conditionings, the old accumulated currents within us. So Osho makes another very interesting point. He says the abhyas that you have right now, whatever conditioning you have right now, is something that has been given to you by society. And he says society is a group of sick people because society means a crowd. And the crowd is the lowest state of humanity. So, what is an attachment, he says, is just a system of running. So, if the passion is the basis of restlessness, then detachment will become your foundation for rest, for that stillness. Uh, okay, this all I explained. Okay. So, in one of, while he was explaining this, what Krishna is doing is trying to, is everybody on gallery view? Can everybody see everybody? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So when Krishna is explaining this to Arjun, Osho has, said how he's working like a psychologist. He says there are certain therapies in which a psychiatrist will place the client, in a room and he'll put a curtain and he'll say, just keep talking. Whatever is coming to your mind, I will not even be there. You just talk. You just keep taking it out. So he keeps on talking, talking, talking. That way, he's able to understand the essence of his mind. So Krishna is using this kind of a technique with Arjun. He's poking him, probing him to see where Arjun is. So when Arjun is talking like this, that mind to sthir ho hi nahi sakta hai, he is also looking at, understanding the essence of his mind. So then he can guide him appropriately. Osho has mentioned this, so I just wanted to bring that in. I think that's all I have for today. Um, Let me go and is there anything else here? Um, 25th. This we've done. This we've done. Okay, this we'll take next time. Sorry, this is all I've got for today. Uh, is there anything that anybody else wants to share? We're before time today for a change. 10 minutes before time. I didn't do more. No, we're good. No thoughts? Any comments?
So, Swati, thanks for sharing this. When we say that, for example, the mind is not there, or how Arjun is talking to Krishna Bhagwan, um, is it not something that with meditation you should be able to observe and increase the sthir, and you can observe your mind, right? Doing all
Yes,
the anger, the sadness, whatever it is, you can actually observe it and see that, okay, now you pull it back, now you see what you're doing, you're spiraling down or you're being too happy or whatever. You just see it that way. And I think that's, I know later, I think in the chapter, he does talk about it, right?
correct. So that is one of the techniques for Abhyas. What you are saying is correct. That is one of the techniques of Abhyas. And as you keep doing that, Vairagya will also start getting stronger. They always go together. Abhyas and Vairagya, they say, are wings, two wings of one bird. They always go together. So what you're saying is right, and it's a technique of Abhyas which will stabilize you in Vairagya and take you to Vitarag. That's how I see it. Anything else? Any other thoughts, comments? Yeah.
What are the other techniques on how to get that?
Abhyas can be so many. There are any number of techniques in sadhana, no? So there is awareness technique, there is kriya practice. For if you go into Maharishi Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, he gives the method of Ashtanga Yoga. He says follow yama, the five yamas, the five niyamas, pratyahara, pranayama, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. That is his method. This is all abhyas. This is the method. Ashtanga yoga is the method of abhyas that has been given to us as yoga practitioners.
Okay.
Yeah. So kriyas, or the merit. So what you are doing is the awareness sitting practice. So we have kriyas which are combined with breath. Even in awareness, you may be doing like vipassana involves the breath. It involves observing the mind. But like Shambhavi hai, Sudarshan Kriya hai, these are all Kriya practices. Then Yama and Niyama. So, those are the basics. Say, uh, see, there's a whole thing we discussed in Yama about Satya. So speak the truth, but what is truth? And how to look at truth in a more mature way. I think we've addressed it to a certain degree in Gita also, but he explains each yama, how to practice each yama. So that also begins to shift your currents. So conditioning will change. Abhyas is to decondition you from what the crowd and the mass thinks to become to a journey within to you, to the self. So if I don't know if you were part of. I had shared a write up on Ashtanga Yoga when we began Bhagavad Gita, saying that just read it. Some people did. Did you read it? I'll send it out again. I think Varsha, some people have read. I will send out a write up on Ashtanga Yoga, which was like really culling what Maharishi Patanjali says. Read that. For us as yoga practitioners, that is the most, it's like a solid method. That is our abhyas. And everything needs to be practiced like niyama, regularity, shaucha, santosha, contentment, cleanliness. How do you practice all that? Very important. That is our abhyas. That is what we should be doing and becoming established in it. Anything else? Asana. Asana is also abhyas. Huh? It changes currents. It shifts the currents. Pranayama shifts the currents. Not just awareness. Jo ho raha hai, wo ho raha hai. All of these practices should be done together. I think I am biased towards Maharishi Patanjali and Yoga Sutras also because that's the only practice I've followed. So, and I find it very comprehensive and very wholesome. And they say that there is nothing that Maharishi Patanjali has left unsaid. Anything that can be said by a human being, Maharishi Patanjali has covered it. There is nothing that he has left unsaid. So it's so complete and it's so robust as a method. Very, very robust. I'm not saying I can do it 100%. Huh? No, I fail. Many things I fail. But the thing is, at least directionally, I'm there. So, it's better to be a failure on that path rather than not not attempt or do some things half other things. It's just so robust. That direction is very good to move in. Okay. Anything else? No? Yes, Manish.
That's what later in the chapter, I think it comes over, right? The direction that even if you are not like a tapasvi and later in the chapter, the thought of being there is more valuable than doing all the antics, the physical antics and starvation and all those things.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the idea that you're doing part of the yoga without even being successful is better than not doing it at all.
Better not than correct. Better to be a failed attempt here rather than not do the attempt on this path. Yeah. Tapas Svadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga. And yes, he has spoken about he's spoken about tapas and he's spoken about how to balance that.
Yeah. No, but chapter 6 later on, like I was listening to I didn't realize how far we were, so I finished the chapter, but they're talking about that. Like if I get, Arjuna is asking if I leave this and if I don't get there and I get hung up in between and.
Yeah, so उसमें वो अर्जुन पूछता है कि मुझसे तो ये सब होगा नहीं, मैं ये सब अभ्यास भी नहीं कर सकता. What if I'm halfway? So Krishna explains to him the merit that you will accumulate by just doing this abhyas. Even that merit is so valuable because you will be born. If you're born in a new life, like when you're born into a new life, you will be born into those kind of situations. See, that is where Jati Desha Kala. Maharishi Patanjali speaks of this in second chapter in Yoga Sutra. Jati Desha Kala. Where are you born? Which space? Which Desha? which place, Kala, at what time are you born. All of this is decided based on the karmic patterns that you have accumulated. So abhyas is also your karma, because this is what I'm doing. So now that you have accumulated this meritorious karmic pattern, he says you will be born in a family where this will get supported. This is the only wealth which will not disappear. Material wealth disappears, but you will gather. This is a sampatti that you will gather, and you will take it with you in the next lifetime, even if you don't come into enlightenment in this life. That's what he explains in this. Osho ऐसे ही समझाते हैं, है ना? Okay.
Yes.
Swati,
All right. हाँ
Swati,
संगीता.
one question. Just going back to what you said about the mind not being a padarth and being like a relationship between the so it's like there's no substance really there, right? And you can easily take it out from that 25 tattva model, and then you'll have the direct relationship of the consciousness to the body. Is that what
Actually, you
you're
will not have a relationship, because the mind is the one that creates the relationship. So if the mind is the relation, so see, it's like this. Mind is the relationship of consciousness to the body. It's not the other way around. From top to bottom. If you look at the 25 Tattva model, ठीक है? Purusha here, Pancha Mahabhuta here, mind comes in between. So it's a relationship. So consciousness of Purusha is like light. It's very ethereal, It just shines and it starts becoming one with all of these tattvas. And it starts feeling that it is I. Mind is that space of I, therefore emotions and, likes, dislikes, whatever.
Yeah.
So Osho says this is a relationship, and because it is a one-sided relationship, it can be broken. When he says it can be broken, what it means in spiritual terms is that you can transcend this.
Okay. But then what does it mean when we say that we have Sukshma Sharir? Like we have Sthula Sharir, which is the gross body.
Correct.
Gross body. Then we have Sukshma Sharir, which I thought that was the mind.
You can dissolve it. See, people who transcend, Sangeeta, this is what I have learned, okay? I'll share with you. So, there is Sthula Sharir. Now, suppose I die unenlightened, just an ordinary life, and I die. Now, when I die, my Sukshma Sharir, which is my, like, say, the mental body, my emotions, my feelings, my likes, dislikes, and my karmic structure, they both form my Sukshma Sharir, like the causal body, Karana Sharir, and the Sukshma thing. These two things will go, it will be like floating in the universe. When the right womb is available, it will come attracted to it. Suppose I live here as a Jivan Mukta, okay? Then I may have dissolved all my likes and dislikes. A major portion of my Sukshma Sharir would have dissolved, but maybe Karana Sharir, and I'm relating this to Yoga Sutras, some seeds may remain, which means I could leave with certain things, but I may still have seeds, so I get reborn. But there are people like Buddha who have, through transcendence, dissolved their Sukshma and their Karan Sharir. No more seeds are left. So now there is no returning back into the material. I mean, this is how I'm understanding what you are saying. Like, this is how I would approach it.
Yeah, no, I also was taken aback because I've never thought about the mind in that sense. So I was kind of recalibrating everything in my head. And then like the qualities that like Manoj always teaches us, like, the consciousness is Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta. So then I guess those four qualities remain, whereas all the ego-based thoughts and emotions and identities and personalities, all that dissolves, but the Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta remains.
Correct. That's the self.
That's the true self, yeah.
That's the true self.
Okay.
And see, when he's speaking of mind as a relationship, Osho is emphasizing, don't think of mind as matter like air, like Arjun is giving in that analogy. It is to nullify his analogy and show the defects in and faults and mistakes in Arjun's analogy, that Osho is saying this is not matter like air. Air is matter, dense है वो destroy नहीं हो सकता. That air can turn into water, it can turn to solid ice. Your mind is not like this. So it's wrong to call it air कि ये चंचल है, ये move होता रहेगा. It can be completely dissolved. It dissolved to the extent where no trace is left of it.
Yeah,
So
it's
in that
interesting.
context,
I never thought about it like that. I'm so like happy that this concept is cleared up in my head now.
okay.
Well, I actually thought it was like air, like
We
it's
all think it like that, yeah.
energetic version of matter is mind, like it's something we don't see, but it's the Sukshma Sharir, like it's always. But now I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so if there's nothing else, then we'll close. We're
Yeah.
good? Okay. You just need the closing mantra. Aum. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you,
Sometimes I
Swati.
struggle with certain ideas because when I listen to Osho, it's so well done. And then it's difficult to keep it like how he does.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.